What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Juicy Jet Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Rooney, and we are only five whole days away. I can count it on one hand, 5 days away from when the New York Jets open up their season at home, Jet Life Stadium, 1 p.m. against Aaron Rodgers, our old buddy, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. It is going to be so much fun. Football actually kicks off in 2 days, which is great. There's a game Thursday, game Friday, then a full slate Sunday. You got the game on next Monday. So there's a lot going on. It's finally here. We finally made it. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. It's just been a really long off season. There was just so much bad that happened last year that I'm so excited to strip all that away and finally get into 2025 and see what's got in store. And knowing us Jets, I'll be excited for the first 30 minutes, and then it'll all fade away, and we'll be back to where we normally are. But now, I'm going to talk a little bit today about a few things. Number one, we're going to do trivia. Number two, we're going to talk about the big NFL news, that Micah Parsons trade. I do want to hit on it one more time because it's one of the bigger trades you're going to see. And then we're going to go into the Jets schedule. I'm going to predict their record. We're not going to preview the entire Jets-Steelers game today. We may do that later in the week. And then finally, we'll go into my overall NFL predictions, which includes your Super Bowl champion, all the division winners, who's going to make the wild card, and then we'll go into who's going to win awards in the NFL, including MVP. So we're going to go through all of that today. We're going to try to get through it quick. We're not going to do any of the typical gym breaks, anything like that, but we are going to hit trivia. So let me hit you with the trivia first. Obviously, with me being so excited for week one of the NFL season to be back, I figured we'd stick with the theme and go with another week one trivia question. So I'm going to take you back to 1999, week one home opener for the New York Jets. They are coming off in 1998, going to the AFC Championship game. They're up 10-0 against the Denver Broncos and lose and miss out going to the Super Bowl. So big expectations the year following in 1999. So my trivia question is, in that opening game in 1999, the Jets were struck with many injuries. It was not a pretty sight with all the hype that was there for us. And the Jets had to play a few different quarterbacks in that game because of all the injuries that they sustained. So my question is, number one, who did they play? Did they win the game? How many quarterbacks did they play? And name those quarterbacks. So this is a pretty sad one in Jets history because it kind of killed our hopes for the whole season, even though it didn't turn out that bad of a season. It wasn't as good as we thought it was going to be. But so sorry if I bring up any bad memories, but I thought it was a good question to open up, our week one theme of the NFL season kicking off, being excited, all that good stuff. So good luck with that question. We'll get back to it at the end. All right. Now for me, week one is here. 5 days away from being in the parking lot at MetLife. I just want to tell you a little bit about what this all looks like. For me, I live out in Brooklyn. I don't have a car, so for me to get to the stadium, I take the subway into the city super early in the morning. It's probably like 7:45, 7:50. I leave my apartment, take the subway, go all the way up to Port Authority, take a bus to get to MetLife Stadium. It's the first bus of the day. It leaves at 9 a.m. It leaves at 9. We get to the parking lot by like 9:15. And then we tailgate the whole day. I'm so excited to get out there, see some of the guys that I haven't seen in a long time since last season. The tailgate with us. We're out in K3, so if anyone's out there, come say hi. And I'm just pumped. We got bubble burgers. We do the dogs. May do, who knows, some Philly cheesesteaks this time around. Who knows what we're going to do, but I just can't wait. I love that anticipation. The tailgate's the best part because normally when we go into the game, it's not always the greatest game we've ever seen. So the tailgate's going to be awesome. So very excited for that. And then obviously you sit in that game. I sit in one of the end zones, so we're nice and close to the field, and we get to see when they're right in front of you. It's a very exciting thing. So I just can't wait to get back out there. And, like I said, my goal this year is to once again do all the games. So this is game one. We've got Buffalo the next week. Got the 2 trips down in Florida already booked. Then we got Dallas back at home. Then we go to London. So all of that is already good to go. So I'm very excited to get out there and do it all over again. So with that, let's jump into some of the NFL news. The big thing that happened this past week, and I talked about it on some of the other social media sites, but the big thing that happened was the Micah Parsons trade. So the Dallas Cowboys trade Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark, 29-year-old Kenny Clark. To me, this trade was crazy. And I have all these Cowboys fans telling me he didn't show up in big games. He was a cancer in the locker room. First of all, I haven't heard a single player say a bad thing about him. Everybody who has been interviewed post this trade is like devastated. So I don't know what's going on there. So that doesn't make any sense that he's a cancer in the locker room. It seems like everybody loves him. The other thing too, I could see if this was a team that, had one really, really good player, kind of like when we had Jamal Adams. Like, we had a really good player, but we weren't competing to win anything anytime soon. We were rebuilding. This team's not rebuilding. They just paid CeeDee Lamb to be the, third highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. They just paid Dak Prescott to be the highest paid NFL player ever. What are we doing trading away a prime chip on defense who's only 26 years old? This is the part that's mind-boggling. I could see it. Let's say you're the Cleveland Browns and Myles Garrett, who's in his 30s, still a really good player, and you were like, I want to trade him away and get a haul. Okay, I get it. You're rebuilding. Myles Garrett's older. There's not a lot of future. He's not going to be there for when you guys are now winning as the Cleveland Browns. So why not get a haul for him? You can rebuild, use the picks to make yourself a better team. The Cowboys have this guy who is a great piece. There's probably only 2 elite positions on defense that you must have. And there's an elite corner and an elite pass rusher. You don't let those guys go, because the best thing you're going to do when you trade away a Micah Parsons for draft picks is hopefully have one of those picks turn into someone almost as good as Micah Parsons. And who knows, maybe you land on all 4, but I haven't seen the Cowboys hit on all 4 of their draft picks in recent years. You look at like the Mozzie Smiths, the Taco Charltons. I don't think they know how to draft at this point. Sure, they've hit on some, but man, it's a crapshoot. And then for me, Jerry Jones, he's in his late 80s? What is he going to wait till he's rebuilding to 90 to try to win a Super Bowl? You got to think this guy's going to be all in. So I'm so confused about this trade. I get it. Kenny Clark, 29 years old. He's a good defensive tackle. He can stop the run. 2 first-round picks is great. That's awesome. But that's not a haul. For a guy like Micah Parsons, who's one of the top 5 best defensive players in football, you can literally call him generational if you want to. He is such a good player because he can play multiple positions, move all around the defense. He's so good and still young. You only got 2 first-round picks and this defensive tackle who's fading towards the end of his career. The Jets got more for Jamal Adams. That's the part that drives me nuts. It's crazy to think about. We got 2 first-round picks, a third, and a safety. And that was Jamal Adams. We traded away a safety for that. This guy is a elite position, young. It makes no sense to me. I don't know what Jerry Jones is doing. Now, look, we can look back. Micah Parsons could get hurt and never play football again, and the Cowboys hit on Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, and another Micah Parsons in this upcoming draft, in the upcoming 2 drafts, and then it's like, okay, fine, they won the trade. But in the moment, I don't think there's a good trade. I really think Jerry got fleeced. I feel like from everything we've heard is that he didn't really talk about this potentially being a trade to the rest of the league. So really, he was just negotiating with the Packers. If he opened it up, it's kind of like the Luka trade. They were only trading Luka to the Lakers. If they opened up to the rest of the league, you could have driven that price way through the roof. Who knows? The Patriots probably would have given everything for a guy like him, even though they're nowhere near ready to compete with a guy like that. So, I don't know. I feel like the price could be driven up. I don't think it was good business, but hey, good for Micah Parsons. Good for the Packers. Hopefully this works out. I think they're going to be a really good team this year. It's just, is this enough? They don't have that great of a secondary. Well, they have a good safety room. I don't know if they have good corners. So we'll see if this pass rush with him and Rashawn Gary can actually wreak havoc. So, yeah, wild trade. Never thought I'd see a trade like that before, but there it is. So, Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys move on from Micah Parsons. And I will throw this little subtle thing in here. If you have not watched the Cowboys documentary, it's called The Gambler and His Cowboys. It is so good. It's a story of the late 80s to 90s, and now I think I'm on episode 8, which will be the early 2000s. It's how Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys and the dynasty that he built and where it is today. Really good, super inside knowledge, and interviews everybody, including Jerry, so I would highly recommend it. It's a really interesting watch. But okay, that was the NFL news. Let's go and talk about our New York Jets. So the Jets kick off this Sunday, 1 o'clock, MetLife Stadium against the Steelers. What I want to do is give my predictions for the year. Now, I am not sure about my predictions right now. I am so unconfident because I know nothing about what this offense is going to look like. I know nothing about this coaching staff. I'm not sure how much we're going to blitz as a defense. I just don't know. The only thing that I'm holding my hat on is Justin Fields. I feel like I know what he is. That's one. And then number two, I feel like we're a very top-heavy team with not a lot of depth. I think if some of our big players go down, we're in trouble. Luckily, we're really healthy right now. I don't think we have a lot of players that are missing a lot of time, so I feel pretty good about us going into week one. So let's hit this thing. I will say I have the full right to change my mind at any moment about what I decide here with this record. It's my podcast. I can do what I want, and if I decide, if I say the Steelers are going to beat us, and then on Saturday I decide we are going to beat them, then it's up to me. So you can't hold me to it. But I'm going to get it perfectly right anyway, so it doesn't matter. So week one, Jets, Steelers at home, MetLife Stadium, 1 o'clock. I am going with a New York Jets victory. I don't know why. I just feel convinced. I'm going to talk more about it when we pod about this pregame, but I just don't see our defense letting up that many points to Aaron Rodgers and that offense. I don't think they have enough weapons. Sure, DK Metcalf is good, but I don't know. I feel like we're going to come out with our hair on fire, and we got something to play for. And I know the stadium's going to be probably half and half, Jets fans, Steelers fans, but I don't know. I feel like the Steelers are not going to be that good this year, so I feel good. I feel like it's going to be a close game. I feel like it's going to come down to the wire. I feel like bet the under on this game because I don't think they're going to score a lot of points. I'm worried about how many points we can score on their defense, but I think we squeak one out. All right, so we got 1-0, the New York Jets, then stay home for Buffalo the following week. Buffalo, buzzsaw. I don't think we're ready. I think we're going to come off this really amazing win and then get killed by the Bills. Maybe not killed, but yeah, I think they're going to beat us handily. I think it's kind of like the year that Aaron Rodgers got hurt, where we beat the Bills. Then the next week we got crushed by the Cowboys. So I think there's going to be a letdown. So I got us at 1-1. Week 3, go to Tampa to play the Bucks. I think the Bucks are way too good. I don't see us beating the Bucks, so I go 1-2. Then we play across the state in Miami. I guess southeast side of the state. We play Miami. I have been to Miami maybe 5 times to see the Jets play there. I think it's the last 5 times in a row. And I have never, ever seen the Jets win there. It is a house of horrors. I hate it. All the fans hate me. They yell at me when I just sit there quietly and I do nothing. And it makes no sense. So I'm giving them a loss. I think the Dolphins' offense is still good enough to beat us, even though their team's kind of in disarray and I don't really see them being that good this year. I still think they're good enough to beat us. So we are 1-3 heading into week 5. Week 5 at home against the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not scared of the Cowboys anymore. Micah Parsons wreaked havoc against us 2 years ago when we played them in Dallas. Who is going to rush the passer? We've got 2 young tackles. We got a good offensive line. Kenny Clark, we already showed that Armand Membu can stop him when we played the Packers in the preseason. So I think we're going to run the ball down their throats, and I don't think they can stop it. So sure, their offense is going to be good. I actually think the Cowboys are going to be a little bit better than expected because Dak is back. But I'm giving us the win. So we are 2-3. Now, at this point, if you are going into the London game and we're 2-3, you feel pretty good about the season. You just played 3 playoff teams in a row, essentially. Then you played Dolphins and the Cowboys. You feel pretty good. I think if we can get 2 wins in those first 5-6 games, we're okay because the back half of the schedule gets a little bit easier. But let's keep going. So I have us at what 2-3. So then we fly all the way to London to play the Denver Broncos. I am giving us a loss there. I think that defense is way too good for us. I don't think Bo Nix is going to be that good this year. I think he takes a step back because it's, those second year things. Everybody now understands what Bo Nix is and what he can do. But I still give us the loss there. Then we come back home. We play the Panthers. I give us a win against the Panthers. I still don't think they're that good. I think they're going to be better than expected. I think finally they're starting to figure it out. I think Bryce Young's figuring it out, but they're not there yet. They're probably a year away. So that's a win there. This game was my big pivotal game here against the Bengals. I really think we can surprise the Bengals. Their defense is still not good. I just feel like, can we keep up? That's the big question. Can we keep up, or can we keep the ball out of their hands by running constantly? So that could be a sneaky one. I'm still giving us the loss, but that's one to look out for. That could be a very season-turning win or loss. So for now, I'm giving them the loss, but who knows? That could really change as I see what this team looks like. Then we go to the next week. So what are we at right now? We're at 1, 2, 3, and 5. We go to play the Browns at home. I'm giving us a win. I think the Browns are going to be one of the worst teams in football this year, so I'm giving us a W. Then we go play in New England Thursday night football, so only a couple days rest. I'm giving us a loss. We don't really win very often in New England. I think they're going to be a better team this year. Do I think they're going to be that good? No, I'm not as excited about them as everybody else is, but I still think they beat us. So I'm giving us a loss there. Then, unfortunately, we got a nice 10 days rest, but we go to Baltimore to play the Ravens. Giving us a loss there. I don't think we stand a chance. They're way too good for us. And they just they just signed one of the best corners in the league in Jair Alexander. So I'm not feeling good about beating the Ravens. Then we come back home, play the Falcons. It's a little cold out. We got a lefty quarterback, Michael Penix. I think we win that game. I think it's going to be a close one. That's another pivotal one that could turn the season because I think the Falcons are going to be decently good. But I think that outdoor in the cold, hopefully it's like raining or something. I hope it's like bad weather, even though it would suck to sit there and watch. I think that gives us an advantage if it is. So I'm giving us a win against the Falcons. Then the Dolphins come to town. I think we get swept by the Dolphins this year. I have no rationale besides I still think their offense is good as long as Tua is healthy. So I'm giving the Jets a loss there against the Dolphins. Then we fly to Jacksonville, go to Florida, play the Jags. I also think the Jags are going to be better than they're supposed to be this year. So I am giving the Jets another loss against the Jaguars. So what are we at now? We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5 and 9. Not looking good. But luckily, we play the lowly Saints. We go to New Orleans right before Christmas, play the Saints. That's a win. I think they're also going to be one of the worst teams in football this year because they do not have a quarterback. Then the Patriots come to town, second to last week of the year. I don't think we're going to get swept by the Patriots. I think we beat them at home. And then finally, we go to the last game ever in Highmark Stadium against the Bills. That fan base is going to be jumping because they know they got a new stadium right across the street, and they're saying goodbye to this one. So we will probably get killed by the Bills because I've been there multiple times and have never seen a win in Buffalo. So another loss. So with that, overall record is 7 and 10. Better than last year, but that is another year. That is the 11th straight year without a winning record, which is insane. And that's 16 straight years of not making the playoffs. Well, I guess 15. 15 straight years of not making the playoffs. Brutal. Brutal, brutal, brutal. But I will say there are a couple pivotal games this year that if we can win them, changes the entire outcome of the season. I think if you can split against the Dolphins and Patriots, massive. That's 2 wins in the division that we're not expecting. If you can sweep one of those teams, even bigger. Because then you get 3 wins in the division. You're splitting the division. That's just huge. So it depends on how good the Dolphins are and can we beat the Patriots twice. That's the big question. The next one that I'm looking at is week 1. Week 1 is the biggest game of the year. I think if we win week 1, it just changes the total outlook of the team. Because if you are leaving the Steelers game, we lose that game. Then you got to play the Bills and Bucks and then go to Miami. I don't feel good about us being, I think we're 0-4 coming back home to play the Cowboys. In that case, or 0-5. Then we got to go to London and play against a playoff team in the Broncos, 0-6. I just think it's such a pivotal game. You have to win to give us just some more excitement and hope for the rest of the year, because a loss could really spiral us very quickly, and then the fans fade out, and then, the team stops caring and it's over. So hopefully that week 1 game against the Steelers, that's got to be one that we pull through. And the other ones I look at, I mentioned the Bengals game. That could be a really pivotal one if you can turn that L to a W. The Falcons game, I gave us a win, could be an L. So that's going to be an iffy one. The Jaguars as well. If you can beat the Jaguars, it's another big one. It's an AFC win, so that gets you closer. If we can get to 8 and 9, that would be an awesome record. That'd be the most wins we've had in 10 years. Um, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But that week one game, this game is so pivotal. It's crazy. So hopefully Aaron Rodgers gives us a nice gift and we win this one. But all right, so that's the Jets record, 7-10. Now let's pivot. Let's talk through who's going to win the divisions, who's going to make the playoffs as a wild card. So for me in the AFC East, I have the Buffalo Bills and nobody else making the playoffs. So the Bills will win the division. They are just a house. You just can't beat them at this point. So Bills are really awesome, unless Josh Allen gets hurt, which he has not shown that he ever will. In the West, I still got the Chiefs. I think as long as they're still the Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes, and someone's got to show me they can actually beat them before I say that they won't win. In the North, I got the Ravens. I think this is a big year for the Ravens, big year for Lamar Jackson, so excited to see what they look like. In the South, here's my first surprise. I've got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Rookie head coach who I think can actually unlock this offense, unlike what was going on with Doug Peterson down there. So I've got the Jaguars winning the South and making the playoffs. In the first wild card slot, I've got the Chargers. I think this is like Herbert's big year. Like Herbert's got to do something here. He's got to win a playoff game, something to show that he's in the elite group, because right now he's on the outside looking in and everyone's wondering, can this guy win? So we'll see what happens with the Chargers, but I feel good about their team. I feel good about their coach. Sucks that they lost Slater, but you got to move past it. Injuries happen. They're unlucky. They're one of the unluckiest teams in football, but you got a chance. You got a quarterback, so you got a chance. My second wildcard team, I'm going the Cincinnati Bengals. I do think Joe Burrow just puts the team on his back and lifts them to the playoffs. He doesn't care about the defense, whatever. He's putting the team on his back and they're going. And then finally, my third wildcard team, maybe a surprise. I don't have the Broncos. I've got the Raiders from Las Vegas. Geno Smith is secretly one of the most elite quarterbacks in the league when he plays in a dome. And now he only has 5 games this entire year outside of a dome. So you get elite Geno Smith with Pete Carroll again, and a now great running back in Ashton Genty, or what we think will be a great running back. I don't know. I feel like they're a sneaky team that can win. I think Geno always keeps teams in it, and I feel like they're going to hang around long enough to get in. The big thing is, are they going to beat Bo Nix and the Broncos? Can they overcome the Texans and CJ Stroud? Can they hold the Dolphins off? I think those are the teams that are really fighting for that last spot. So we'll see. Maybe I'm an idiot and you just take the best quarterback and CJ Stroud should just make the playoffs. Maybe I'm dumb and Sean Payton, I shouldn't count him out. He should make the playoffs, and that defense that they have in Denver. But I don't know. I feel good about our old friend Geno. So I'm going with the Raiders in the third wild card slot. All right, in the NFC, I've got in the East, I've got the Eagles. I don't see why they wouldn't be really good unless someone gets hurt. So going Eagles. In the West, as long as Matt Stafford is healthy, I am going Rams in the West. If that game wasn't in the snow against the Eagles, man, they're putting up a fight. And they came down to the very end. Even though the Eagles are a house, the Rams played really well, and I love the addition of Devontae Adams. So I feel good about the Rams. In the North, surprise, I'm not going with the Lions. I'm going with the Packers. I think this is Jordan Love's year, and I think the Lions take a little bit of a step back, losing both their coordinators and then a few other pieces. In the South, I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't think any of the other teams are good enough to compete yet. Saints are bad. Panthers are bad. And the Falcons are kind of middling, but they got a young quarterback, so we'll see how good he is. If he can be if he can be a top, 18 quarterback, then hey, maybe we're talking playoffs for the Falcons, because then they can just run the ball Bijan. But we'll see how that goes. So I'm going Bucs in the South. My 3 wildcard teams. I'm still going Lions. I still think the Lions are good enough to make the playoffs. It's just, are they good enough to win the division? That's a big question. Wildcard 2, I'm going 49ers. I think they have a bounce back year. They're more healthy than they've been. Wide receiving room is not that healthy, but I think they can get back to running the ball with Christian McCaffrey. I think that defense is going to be a lot better with Robert Saleh. So I'm going Niners in wildcard 2. And in the third wildcard spot, I'm going with the Commanders. I do think they're going to take a minor step back, but I still think they're going to be really good. And Jane Daniels is going to flash in certain moments and he's going to look amazing. So that's my thing in the East. In the NFC. I think the only teams that I'm flirting with are, will the Bears be good? I don't think so, but we'll see. I think they're going to be a middling team. The Vikings, I don't know what J.J. McCarthy looks like, so I can't put them in there yet. I don't think the Cardinals are going to be that good. Seahawks are going to be close. I think they're going to be one of the teams fighting because I think they're going to get a lot better. But Sam Darnold just can't play well in big games, so I think that's going to be a problem. Who am I missing? Cowboys, I don't think they're going to make it. Giants, I think their schedule's too hard, even though I think they're going to be better as an actual team. I think that's it. Those are the only teams that I was kind of flirting around with there. So that is who I think is going to make the playoffs from the AFC and NFC. And then finally, let's talk Super Bowl. I have a lot of asterisks around this. So my Super Bowl representative from the AFC. No, I am not picking the Buffalo Bills. I will never pick the Buffalo Bills, so don't expect me to pick the Buffalo Bills. I also don't think their defense is that good, so but I am going with the Baltimore Ravens. I think it's their time. I think Lamar Jackson needs to cement his legacy with a Super Bowl win and maybe a Super Bowl MVP because he is one of the best quarterbacks in football. He's one of the best quarterbacks of the past 5 years. Once you get that ring, then you're a Hall of Famer. So hopefully he can get that ring and lock it down. And I'm tired of seeing the Chiefs, so I don't want to see them anymore. And I really don't want the Bills to go for obvious reasons. Now, my second Super Bowl team, it all depends. If Matt Stafford can stay healthy, I'm going Rams. I'm going Ravens, Rams, Super Bowl. I think McVay is going to have so much fun with his offense this year as long as Stafford's healthy. I'm very nervous that he's not going to be healthy, in which case I'll probably sub out the Rams, but I don't know. We're going to wait and see. I'm not ready to do that yet. So Ravens, Rams, Super Bowl, and I'm going Ravens are your Super Bowl champions for the year 2025. All right, final things to run through. NFL awards, MVP, like I said earlier, the Bengals are going to have Joe Burrow put them on their back, so I have Joe Burrow winning the MVP. Offensive Player of the Year. It's kind of hard for Joe Burrow to win MVP and then not have Jamar Chase be the Offensive Player of the Year, but I'm actually going to go Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to score a lot of touchdowns this year. He had a lot last year. So I'm interested to see if he starts to get the love in these like award conversations because they're going to give him the ball a lot. So I think he'll take that one home. For the Defensive Player of the Year, I'm still going Myles Garrett. He's like the only player on the Browns, I feel like, at this point. So I really want him to win, and I think he's going to have a good pair in Mason Graham next to him, the rookie, which will free him up a little bit more. So I'm really excited about Myles Garrett. I think it's his time to win this award. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going Ashton Jeanty. I think Cam Ward could win, but I don't think his team is going to be good enough, while Jeanty's going to be fighting for a playoff spot. So I think they're going to lean on him a lot. So I'm going to go Ashton Jeanty there in Las Vegas. And then Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going Abdul Carter. He's my favorite player in the draft. He is awesome. It just depends on how much the Giants use him. Will they give it to someone who's on a not great team? We'll see. So, but I do love him. So I think Abdul Carter wins. Coach of the Year. I don't think this guy's gotten enough love, but he's now been to 2 Super Bowls and won one. Nick Sirianni. So I'm going to go Nick Sirianni, Coach of the Year, but I think they're going to be so good that he might just get overlooked, which is kind of weird. It's kind of like Bill Belichick always getting overlooked, Andy Reid, even though they really are the coaches of the year, they just never win the award, which is kind of weird. And then finally, Comeback Player of the Year. There's a good case to be made for Aiden Hutchinson. I just got to see what it looks like. There's also a good case for Christian McCaffrey, but I'm going to go with Dak Prescott. I think he's going to get a lot of chances to hurl the ball around this year because it's going to be battles back and forth because I don't think his defense is going to be good enough. So I think Dak Prescott takes home that award pretty easily, to be honest with you. So that is it. Those are my predictions for this year for the New York Jets, 7-10. I've got my AFC and NFC division winners and wild cards. I've got my Super Bowl with my champion being the Ravens, and I've got all of the NFL awards. So like I said, this is my podcast. You cannot hold me to anything that I say here. I have the right to change my mind whenever I want, but it'll be fun to look back at the end of the year and see if I got it right. So, all right, with that, I would love to hear from you guys. If anyone wants to complain or challenge me on any of these, I know the schedule is always one where people are like, we're going 10-6 or we're 10-7. We're going to win the division. Well, I say that every year and it never happens. So I'm gonna stick with my 7-10. And I know people are going to argue with me about who's making the playoffs, who's making the Super Bowl, all that stuff. So please do so. I'd love to hear it. And finally, let's wrap up with the trivia question. Let's answer it for you. So the trivia question was, back in 1999, the New York Jets played their home opener after going to the AFC Championship game and losing to the Denver Broncos the year prior. This was a year where they were supposed to win the Super Bowl. You got Bill Parcells, you got Vinny Testaverde, you got the whole squad, Curtis Martin, the whole squad coming back. But unfortunately, in week one, the most tragic thing you can imagine happens. But we actually saw it twice because we saw it with Aaron Rodgers too. But the question was, who did they play? Did they win? How many quarterbacks did they play? And who were the quarterbacks? So the New York Jets played the New England Patriots at home. They lost by a score of 30-28. So it was a close game. Came down to the wire. And we played three quarterbacks in this game. So like I mentioned, Vinny Testaverde coming off a huge year. He was 10 for 15 in the game and then tore his Achilles. And was pulled out of the game. From there, what did the Jets do? They put in their punter. Their punter played football after the quarterback got hurt. It was Tom Tupa. He was 6 for 10 for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had a 143.8 passer rating. And for some reason, in the second half, they took him out and put in Rick Meyer, who was 4 for 11 with 2 interceptions, a 5.3 quarterback rating. If they just kept Tom Tupa in to deal the rock around, man, who knows how that game would have ended up. So, rough. 3 touchdowns. You had 1 from Vinny, 2 from Tom Tupa, and Rick Meyer blows it. But that is your answer. Vinny Testaverde, Tom Tupa, Rick Meyer, 3 quarterbacks, 30-28 loss to the New England Patriots on opening day. Ended up not being that bad of a year, but all the expectations went out the window. And I remember being a kid, and I kind of remember Vinny going down, but the big one I remember was Leon Johnson going down. He was supposed to be one of their big backup running backs that would play alongside Curtis Martin, and he went down very quickly, so that was over. So that was it. Hopefully we got better news coming into this week 1 home opener, but thank you all for listening. I'm going to try and come back later this week and do a little preview of the Jets-Steelers game, talk a little bit about what I'm going to expect, what we need to do to actually win, and kind of go from there. So thank you all for listening. If you could follow me, rate, review, subscribe, all the things across all the different social media platforms. That's YouTube, that's TikTok, that's Instagram, that is Twitter, at JuicyJet25. That would be amazing. Appreciate you all. Go Jets, and I will talk to you later this week before our week 1 opener. See you later.